Greetings and salutations. My name is OJ as always, and welcome back to another episode of the Deadlockathon, a series of videos where I go over every single character in Valve's not so secret hidden game, Deadlock. I'll be going in alphabetical order from Abrams to Yamato. I'll be covering their lore and personality, their gameplay and abilities, as well as their design. And please do keep in mind that everything I talk about is subject to change at a later date, as that is just kind of the nature of a game like Deadlock. And if you wish to play Deadlock for yourself, I will throw my Steam name up on screen. If you wish to play it for yourself, all you need to do is add me as a friend and subscribe, and I'll send you a code. That is obviously a very bad plug, but do keep in mind that codes take about 1 to 2 days, maybe longer to send through, so please do just be patient. Patience is a virtue after all. But with all of that said, our object of obsession for today is a vampire brat unlike any you've ever seen. The most spoiled woman in all of New York City. That being none other than Mina. Now, as I do in all of these videos, I'd like to start by reading off her lore, as well as, reading off her in-game background, as well as discussing some little lore tidbits and character interactions, personality, etc, etc. But with that said, we begin with her background, which is actually one of the longest in the game, but said background reads as such. Mina had it all. Rich parents, elite education, and an arranged marriage that would see her ascend from run-of-the-mill upper class to American royalty. She was happy. Then her betrothed was assassinated. Mina wept, not for the life of her fiancé, but for the future that was stolen from her. Why couldn't the killer just wait until after the wedding? Then she'd have the last name she always dreamed of, and no one would even have to pretend to love anyone. It could have been perfect, but life wasn't fair. And so Mina did what she always does when things don't go her way. She told her parents to fix it. Mr. and Mrs. Ha knew that the only way to appease their daughter was to offer her something greater than what she lost, and marrying into one of the world's most lauded families was a tall order to top. They had to think big. They had to think outside of the box. They had to promise their daughter immortality. It took a small fortune, but eventually they found a vampire who was willing to turn her. Unsurprisingly, Mina thought the idea of eternal youth and a trust fund was an acceptable plan B, and happily agreed to the proposal. Now a fledgling vampire, Mina is quickly discovering that the clout she held as a human has no weight in vampire high society. And while at first that annoyed her, if there is one thing Mina has a knack for, it's learning the rules so she can subvert them. She will be the Viscount of New York. The other vampires just don't know it yet. She's incredibly bratty. Let's get this right out of the gate. Let's get this out there for everyone to know. She is a spoiled brat through and through. Is she incredibly talented and a absolutely incredible fashionista? Sure, she's a fashion artist, as we know from some of her dialogue. She's a fashion designer and owns a clothing brand. So clearly she has some talent, but that doesn't prevent her from being incredibly spoiled and incredibly bratty. For some of you may know this already, but the fiancé in question that she was going to marry to and get into a incredibly loaded family was actually Pocket. Pocket was going to be Mina's fiancé. However, their life was quickly taken by Calico, of all people. So that it means that Mina was actually going to wed into the Fairfax family, which, as I've mentioned in many a video before, is an incredibly rich company. Incredibly evil, well, at least I can presume so, from, stuff that we know about them, but they're incredibly rich, unbelievably rich, one of the biggest, most fancy, expensive brands, companies in all of Deadlock's universe. And the funniest part about, Pocket being killed and Calico being the one to do it, is that Mina isn't actually angry at Calico for, actually being the one to rip her life away from her. It's that she actually is infuriated at Pocket. She hates Pocket. If you kill Pocket, Mina has a chance to say the lines, "You've ruined my life." What did Pocket do? Pocket got shot. They couldn't do anything about that. Did they ask to be shot? No. So stupid. She's so spoiled and such a brat that she blames Pocket for dying on their wedding day. What? That's so, like, almost comedically spoiled, and I cannot express how funny that is to me. I really like Mina. I know it's when I say like, oh, she's a spoiled brat, I know it comes off as kind of like negative, but I actually think like a spoiled brat fits perfectly into the world of Deadlock, and I love how she's like portrayed. And I need to get this comparison out of the way immediately. Mina and Lady Geist are of a similar cut of cloth in a sense. They're both incredibly rich women. However, there is actually kind of a relationship between the two of them, as Mina, funny enough, idolizes Lady Geist and wishes to be like her. Lady Geist, in turn, believes that Mina has potential. But the thing is, those two are two sides of the same coin. They are both incredibly rich. However, they both have this sense of like acting like they're better than everyone else. But Lady Geist is on the side where she will show and not tell. She will let you know that she is better than you, either through the way she dresses, the way she presents herself, the way she talks to you. Sometimes she does explicitly say it aloud, but that's usually to those that aren't smart enough to, get the idea. Mina, on the other hand, will not hesitate to tell you that you look like an ugly piece of shit and that she's the best thing to ever happen to New York City. For example, because she is a fashion artist, she despises Abram's coat, Dynamo's jacket, the doorman's hat, Vindicta's entire outfit, and she calls Paige a walking fashion crime. Wow, just throwing out hatred to anyone and everyone we can. However, there are a few characters she likes the outfits of, such as Hayes, who she likes the uniform and tie of. She likes Holiday's cowboy hat, Lady Geist's everything. She likes Victor, everything, I presume. She does compliment his trousers, but she also, does kind of hit on him a little bit. She also likes Rafe's hat. But, she will not hesitate at all to let you know that she does not like you, or that she is better than you in every facet imaginable. I cannot, but it's done in a way where it's just fun to listen to. Sure, I'm sure someone else may think, oh, she's really snobby, oh, I don't like listening to her, oh, all of her voice lines are so mean. But, the way she's delivering them kind of makes them a little funny. She can't even give a compliment without it being, partially backhanded. And to show that, I'm going to play an interaction between her and Victor. Because, well, as I said, she does kind of hit on him a little bit, but it is in a backhanded fashion. And you know what? Because I'm just so kind and so courteous, I'm actually going to play multiple voice lines out of Mina, because I think it's good to know what I mean when I say she sounds bratty and sounds spoiled at every turn. I'm going to play now 2 voice lines between her and Victor, as well as a voice line between her and my ever-beloved, the doorman. But anyways, with that said, the 2 Victor voice lines sound as such.
I'm sure you're self-conscious about the whole corpse thing, but I bet if you were in a dimly lit club, you'd be a Midwest 8, New York 6.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I don't hate working with you.
Damning with faint praise.
Take the compliment, corpse boy.
She cannot give a compliment without it either initially sounding backhanded or it then turning into being backhanded. The dimly lit club one, that is backhanded. You're saying that not only does she call him, self-conscious about the corpse thing, but he has to be in a dimly lit club to even be an 8 or a 6, which I'm going to presume is actually incredibly high on her little scale for, dating people, per se. But the other voice line as well, where she just has to say, you're welcome. She has to, no, that's the same voice line. The other voice line where she says, take the compliment, corpse boy. She can't just give a compliment without, chatting back. It's really, really funny. She's just very entertaining. And funny enough, we do actually know who her voice actor is. I didn't actually realize it was written on the wiki yet, but her voice actor is Victoria Grace, who I am going to do a very, very quick mid-video search of, because I have never heard of her in any of my life, and I do not recognize her from anything. Scrolling through her, IMDb page, I do not recognize her in anything. Unfortunate, but I will give her this. She does a very good job at portraying Mina. I think her voice acting is just fantastic. It perfectly gets across sort of Mina's bratty, I'm better than you, and I'm going to tell you that just perfectly. I cannot stress enough how entertaining her voice acting is. And still speaking of her voice acting and interactions with other characters, I'm going to now play the voice line between her and my beloved, the doorman.
So what do you plan on doing to help? Holding open a door while I do all the work?
Something like that.
Lame.
I just... See, then again, in that interaction, I think I just have to compliment Doorman again. The way Doorman just goes, something like that. Like, he doesn't want to talk to Mina. I feel like I probably should have stressed this in his video way back when, but Lady Geist and Mina are consistently, like, dismissive of him, and that seems to infuriate him. Like, subtly infuriate him. He's not going to say, I can't believe you did this. Why the hell are you ignoring me? Like, he has to kind of, like many in the service industry, he has to grit his teeth and just kind of go, whatever you say, miss, and shit like that. It's really funny. Man, I love Mina. She's just absolutely fantastic. Like, I think they were geniuses for making her be the first of the 6 new characters we got recently. Because she's just like she's just easy to like or find entertainment from. Like, she's just so bratty, so spoiled. Like, a spoiled brat can go one of 2 ways, where they either are just like really annoying and you hate every word they say, or you find some form of like entertainment in just the way they are bratty to everyone. Like, there's not a character in the game besides Lady Geist where she isn't like, you know, bratty at least once. And before we round out this section on her lore and her personality, I must mention that Drifter, our other resident vampire, absolutely thinks that Mina is a pathetic excuse for a vampire. And I think that's really, really funny. And it intrigues me that Drifter... I don't even know how... I wonder how Drifter became a vampire now I think about it. Because obviously vampires are eternally youthful. Drifter looks like he's in his 40s. Like, did he get bit in his 40s? Who bit him? Why is he this strong? What the... What? Huh? How did any... questions for another day. Questions for a future lore drop that I'm sure will one day come around. But yeah, and to literally put a tiny little cherry on top of this entire thing, once she becomes the Viscount of New York, which I suppose is like the vampire equivalent of a ruler of New York, she intends to turn the city into her feeding grounds. Truly incredible. Her hunger knows no bounds. Yeah, Mina is like, personality wise, Mina is just fantastic. I love her. I think she's absolutely hilarious, and I think that her lore about her just not being upset that Pocket, her soon to be like partner, or, you know, what would you call it, like partners, because obviously Pocket is non-binary. Would that be like wedded partner? Because it's not husband or wife. It would be like, what's the gender neutral term for that? I have no idea. I'm sure someone's going to tell me. But yeah, I find it funny that she didn't weep for Pocket, but just for the fact that she didn't get to be into the Fairfax family and get like loaded on cash more than she already was. I think that's hilarious. And man, I just feel bad for Pocket. Every single turn they like, I thought Pocket had it bad enough, and now Mina's in the game saying that she hates him for ruining her life. Like, that's too funny. But yeah, with all of my praise sung for Mina and her incredibly entertaining personality and surprisingly entertaining lore done and dusted, I'd like to now move on to talking about her gameplay. Please do keep in mind that for this section, I use OBS to record my audio and gameplay simultaneously, so if I sound a little bit different or a little bit off, I do apologise in advance, but that is why. And with that said, we now move on to her gameplay and her abilities. Right, so here we are in the ever so lovely and ever so helpful training range to talk about Mina's gameplay. But before we do, I noticed something when I was just booting up into here. I just noticed that Lady Geist is the icon for when you want to click and play Deadlock. So I made a video a couple days ago about how Lady Geist is the face of Deadlock, and it never even clicked with me that she's literally the first character you will see when you go to play the game for the first time. Like, when you press, like, go up to the person in the lobby and press start game. I never even noticed that, but that only furthers my point, does it not? But anyways, time to talk about Mina's gameplay, and let us start with her weapon, known as New Money, which, I mean, pretty fitting name, all things considered. It's one of them tiny little pistols. I'm sure some of you have played like Battlefield 1, and it had that like tiny pistol that was like the size of your palm. It's like one of them, and just like every other character in the game, her bullets are practically hit scan. So they aren't actually hit scan, they have a travel time, but of course, they are so quick you wouldn't even notice. It is a very solid gun. Like, admittedly, a lot of its strengths come from an ability that I will talk about in a moment, but because I am actually going to change up the order for once, because, you know, her gun lives and breathes off of the ability. But it's a relatively decent gun. Like, damage-wise, it's kind of not, I wouldn't say it's pathetic, right? The gun, like, okay, how do I say this? It's kind of akin to how in Furnace, a lot of his damage comes from a status effect that he can apply, less so the actual damage of the gun he's shooting. Mina is in the very same ballpark. Her gun is relatively decent. It's got quite a small magazine size, I will admit, and its reload time, thankfully, is incredibly fast. Like, if I just check here, yeah, 1.7 seconds, that's like tiny. If I just look at anyone else, like 2 minutes, 2 minutes, or 2 minutes? I meant 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds as well. Like, I think she has the fastest reload time of any character in the game. I think maybe Yamato might have a quicker one. No, Yamato doesn't. Yeah, I think she might have the fastest reload time of any character in the game. And that is for a reason, because she is meant to be shooting you as much as she physically can because of love bites. Now, the reason I'm addressing love bites first is because a lot of her kit plays around this one ability. Love bites has a 7-second cooldown. I believe that's the icon for a cooldown. I don't know why it's on the left-hand side instead of the right as per usual. Yeah, usually cooldown's on the right-hand side. Either way, your bullets and abilities apply spirit damage, building up to a burst of bonus spirit damage. Love bites has a unique cooldown per target. It does 6 you do an extra 6 damage just across the board on anything you do, like abilities, bullets, etc. Which, by the way, that extra spirit damage does scale, and the bonus damage on the proc of love bites is an extra 55 bonus damage, which also scales with spirit. Now, to show what that looks like, I shoot this enemy, and you can see the icon for love bites appear above his head and slowly decrease. If I shoot him to the point that it activates, you'll see that little bite effect. This will have a cross through it, meaning you cannot activate love bites on the target again, and you'll also notice a little bat fly towards me, which we will discuss in a moment, or in a little bit. This ability is her bread and butter. Everything that she does helps this ability exist, and this is how she does, like, almost all of her damage a lot of the time. Like, love bites can hit really, really hard later on, or even early on. I mean, as it says, an extra 55 bonus damage on proc. That's some scary stuff in lane. Like, when you're sitting at about 600, 500, or 600, 700 health on average for most characters, if you get hit by, like, a few bullets and then love bites, you've lost, like, 150 health. That's nothing to scoff at all. But this ability is literally her bread and butter. Everything she does will just stack up love bites to do big burst damage, and per her thingy, she is a harasser, and this is why. Because she, even if she was like, let's take a trip upwards, right? I need to turn on the no cooldown stuff. Let's take a trip upwards. Say you're standing on top of this building, there's an enemy below you, and you just shoot at them from above. You just get to be annoying. Like, every enemy that gets shot by you knows that you're stacking up love bites with every shot, so they need to run away, lest they want to take, you know, some big burst damage, especially, as I said, early on. So, no matter what range you're at, like, I can actually be miles away from them, and I'll still be able to stack it up. Admittedly, it does actually have a stack up fall off, which is quite interesting. Like, if I stand right in its face, what, that was like 4 shots to stack it? But if I fly all the way back over here, and I shoot him a few times, you'll notice that it didn't stack up, like, at all. Even if I just continue to dump my mag into him, like, it does actually have a fall off, which I feel like should be stated in the description, that the stats effect has a fall off. Same should go for, like, most characters, actually. Like, Infernus has a fall off on his afterburn. I don't know why it's not listed in the description anywhere. But yeah, Love Bites is very solid, very strong ability. As I said, it's like the core component that makes up her entire gameplay. So you do usually, I don't know any other time where you wouldn't be leveling it up first. And speaking of, on its first level up, on the proc of the burst damage, you get an extra 4 meters per second move speed for 3 seconds. On the second upgrade, you get an extra 4 damage per shot and an extra 55 bonus damage on the proc, bringing the normal extra spirit damage to 10, and the on proc damage to 110. And on the third upgrade, on proc, you remove a stamina bar from them, as well as give them a 30% slow for 3 seconds. Now, do you see why this thing can be very annoying? Like, say you're running away from someone, or you're fighting in a team fight, and you manage to get love bites off on like a weaker target. Now you're going to be faster. They're going to be slower. And what do? Like, she can just be annoying. Like, it's so funny that a character who's designed to be like an annoying brat, spoiled, etc., actually has gameplay designed to annoy you. Like, I think that's actually genius. And love bites can be so annoying to be on the receiving end of it. Like, just, oh, I'm dilly-dallying, oh, I'm having a fun old time in lane, and then suddenly Mina just shoots me a couple times and, where did a quarter of my health go? Like, it's funny. And remember, all of it scales with spirit, so if you obviously stack into a bunch of spirit-based items, as I would highly suggest for Mina, you will seriously do some, like, big damage. Love Bites is very integral to the rest of her kit, and it does actually help with the rest of her kit. Speaking of, we're going to move to her first ability now, known as Rake. It has a 10-meter range, a 10-second cooldown, and you slash with your umbrella, dealing spirit damage, increasing with their missing health. If Rake kills a target, you receive a heal. It does 60 damage at base, and on hero hit, it does 3% extra missing health as damage. I think that's how that's described. I think that's how it's described. So let's just say spawn in 2 McGinnis bots, right? And by the way, the heal you get if you kill is 30 health, but it also scales with spirit. So just to show what the ability looks like, you'll have like a small cone in front of you, and you'll slash with your umbrella. And if an enemy is in front of you, they'll get stabbed, and it will apply a bit of a stack for love bites. Now, as you just noticed on this full health McGinnis, it does 70 damage. But if I, say, lower this McGinnis to, roughly about half health, and then slash her, it does 80 damage. You're doing a little tiny bit more the more you do. But then, for example, do you see what I meant by burst damage, by the way? Like, what is that gun doing? Right, okay, whatever. Moving on from the curse stuff. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, she does a lot of burst damage, and honestly, Rake is not only a good burst damage tool, like, early on, like, say you just, you jump into the fight, and you just kind of walk up to someone, just slap them with the umbrella and run away. Like, the umbrella is obviously clearly designed as a finishing tool. Like, you're meant to pellet them with love bites and the such, and then kind of run up to them, rake them, and then, they die, and then you get the heal, and it does, obviously, it's like an execute. It has a built-in extra damage to help you execute enemies. But you can also use it, like, say, in lane, where you can kind of just rush up to someone and just rake them. Because then you get, like, you get that extra kind of bit of damage in. I don't see why you wouldn't. Like, if you have the opportunity to use it, preferably you would use it, to finish someone off. But, of course, you can use it to, just jump in, slash them, and then jump out. Pardon me. It's a very good ability, both in, the sort of poking way where you just run and slash, and also in the finishing tool way, obviously, because it does extra damage on missing health, and you get a heal if you kill someone with it. It's clearly designed to be a execute. But on its first upgrade, you increase the heal per kill up to 50. I know it says 53, but that's because I have killed a McGinnis bot. I can reset myself if you so wish to see the default version of it. So yeah, you get an extra 20 heal per kill, so 50. And on its second upgrade, you get an extra 60 damage, bringing it to 120 at base. And on the third upgrade, you do an extra 6% missing health as damage, bringing it up to 9%. Further emphasizing it as a, finishing tool. A tool that you've already shot up a enemy, you've done love bites, blah, 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 etc. And you just fly in and you give them a big old slash, etc., etc. Now, you may be wondering, well, Mina only has 2 stamina bars, so how did she get into engagements? That's through Sanguine Retreat, which has a 0.6 second duration and a 27-second cooldown. You briefly disperse, becoming untargetable, and fly to a target location. It can be recast within a brief window. The cast range, so the distance you'll go, is 10 meters at base, but it does actually scale with spirit, and the recast window is 3 seconds. To show what that looks like, you press 2, and you'll turn into like a cloud of butterflies, and on your return, like out of this untargetable state, you'll have butterflies. Wait, why did I say butterflies? I meant bats. Am I stupid? What? Why did I think butterflies? She is not sunshine and rainbows and butterflies, but what? I meant bats. She turns into a cloud of bats, flies forward, and then she has bats floating about her, and you'll see the bar at the bottom showing you when you can press the ability again to then teleport a second time. This ability can be used in 2 manners, either to, you know, like fly towards and engage with an enemy, or if you are, you know, being pressured and you need to retreat, you can obviously use it as an escape tool. And it is really good. Like, movement-wise, it's a very good ability because it has omnidirectional movement, meaning, by the way, you can go literally anywhere, like upwards, downwards, like anywhere you wish. Like, because of that, you are able to just escape. Kind of not, it's not free. It's not a free escape. But the fact that she goes anywhere she wants without actually being able to be damaged, yeah, she can basically get away from like any team fight. Like, a good Mina will have the skills to, like, you know, actually give themselves the movement. Like, she just has very good movement with this one ability, both for getting in and getting out. Like, I mean, in a certain scenario, you could, you know, get in / get out. Like, simple as that.
Big surprise there.
Pretty good, right? It's a pretty good ability, and that's just the basic version of it. I haven't even... And remember, the distance you go scales with your spirit. So as the game goes on, you're actually going to be able to escape fights or get into fights even easier, or from further distances away, which obviously just makes the ability even better. And on its first upgrade, you get an extra 3 meters to your cast range, increasing it to 13 meters at base. On the second upgrade, you get an extra 30% fire rate, and you add 8 bullets to your magazine on cast. And on the third upgrade, you reduce the cooldown by 12 seconds, bringing it down to 15. Of course, the cooldown is kind of what holds it back a little bit. 27 seconds is quite long, so when this ability is down, you do need to play a little bit more safely. But when it's up, I mean, feel free to do as you please. Play aggressive, be aggressive with the ability. I mean, as it says, on cast, you get extra fire rate, meaning you can shoot people quicker and stack up, you know, love bites even faster. And the upgrade, like on cast, look how long. Do you see how long that lasted? Like, just watch. I put extra 8 bullets in my magazine, and just wait. Look, is it going to disappear anytime soon? Look how long that took to disappear. The extra fire rate, you lose the extra fire rate when the number 20 goes down to like 12, but you don't lose the extra magazine on your actual gun. So clearly she's designed in a fashion where you want to either use this to engage, obviously shoot people, slash them with the umbrella, or disengage with it and just, you know, kind of like shoot pot shots and hope that a love bite hits them to maybe give you extra proc. Like, that's the thing. Love bites can be used in an offensive and defensive manner, because you can shoot it at an enemy running away and they are slowed and lose stamina and you get extra move speed, but you can also use it in a defensive manner because you get extra move speed and they're slowed. Like, it's a win-win no matter what. Like, love bites is just that good. And of course, like, she's, as it says in her actual thing, she's a harasser and she's nimble. She's really hard to hold down. Like, it's hard to kind of get Mina locked down because she just can move so well. That's the reason why she only has 2 stamina bars, because if she had like 3, she would be insane. I mean, of course you can buy stamina mastery, and now, wow, you've got 4 stamina bars plus some of the best movement in the entire game outside of people like Lash. I mean, some may even argue that she has better mobility than Lash, because Lash requires a target to fling himself off of, whereas Mina just presses a button and then bang, she's on the top of a rooftop. Just like that. Simple. But yeah, Mina's movement and just damage overall is very, very potent. I saw people downplaying her when she came out, like when we started getting the new hero releases. I saw people downplaying her. I was like, are we stupid? She does stupid amounts of damage. Like, just ignoring what I'm about to talk about, Love Bites and Rake alone can do some serious, like, damage. Not to mention, like, all of the stuff you can get. Like, she's one of the world's best user of Spirit Burn, because it's a significant spirit damage to an enemy in a certain period of time. Like, I'm sorry, Love Bites could probably proc that. You know, let's try it. Can love bites alone proc it? Wrong. Wrong again. That's besides the point. That never happened. You never saw that. Nothing ever happened. But anyways, as I said, speaking of really high damage, Nox Nostra is the name of her ultimate. It has a 14-meter range, one of the two, and 115-second cooldown, which is very low, by the way, really low. McGinnis was the last character in the series. Even with her multiple upgrades, her ult was still 125 seconds long, like cooldown long, or 120 seconds cooldown, I think. Like, Mina's got a shorter cooldown on her ult than McGinnis at base. Ignoring, you know, superior cooldown and transcendent cooldown, all of that lovely stuff. But anyways, on active, you unleash a cloud of bats that seek out targets, each dealing spirit damage and applying silence. Triggering love bites against heroes permanently increases the number of bats released, which is why earlier you saw me have like bats come to me whenever I procced love bites. Like if I just proc it now, those bats flying into me add to the stat. You can see the little number there, it's +8, but if I shoot, say this McGinnis, it's now +10. You get 2 bats per stack. It shoots out 30 bats per second, obviously at base. It does 6 damage, which scales of spirit damage, and the silence debuff lasts for 1.25 seconds. The bonus bats you get per love bite is 2, and the total bats released, as of current, is 75. This ult is so strong. Like, just as a show of what it looks like, you press the button, fly up, and you'll get this big, like, radius of where you'll just unleash a cloud of bats towards your enemies. If a single bat hits someone, they will be silenced, which, for those that don't know, silence is where it disables all of your abilities. So, if you manage to start this ult without anyone, like, looking at you, like, you're able to actually hit them, just one bat out of the 75 that I'm releasing, that prevents them from doing a bebop grab, 7 stuns, anything to stop me, even, like, something like knockdown, which, like Lash, she's very vulnerable to knockdown, which, for those that don't know, it applies a stun for 2 seconds. After 2 seconds, stun duration is increasing its airborne targets. When she's in her ult, she's very susceptible to that ability. But if you hit one bat, they can't use that. They can't use that item. So, and I just need, this thing does stupid damage. Like, even just at base. And remember, it does spirit damage. All of her abilities do spirit damage and they apply love bites. So this ult is hitting like entire teams or just bursting single targets, and it's applying love bites, which makes it do even more damage. But like, just to show what it looks like, you like quickly stack up love bites, and I mean, look at that damage. That's nothing to scoff at. And remember, every time you proc love bites, you're getting more and more and more bats. More bats for the slaughter. More bats to throw at your enemies. And as the game goes on and on and on, and after you stack up so many stacks of love bites, if you play her well, of course, God, the amount of bats you can unleash is unreal. I can't even begin to explain how many you shoot out. Like, she can just wipe teams on her own with this one ability. It's so dumb. And that's just at the basic level. Speaking of the upgrades, you get an extra 2 damage per bat, so it brings it to 8 from 6. On the second upgrade, you reduce the cooldown by 40 seconds, bringing it down to 75 seconds. She has the shortest ult cooldown in the game, which can be affected by things such as transcendent cooldown. So if I buy transcendent cooldown and look at the cooldown now, 53 seconds. 53. That's actually like the time that that's stupid. That's stupidly short. Unbelievably short, actually, for how much damage this thing can do. And speaking of damage, of course, what does the third upgrade do, you may ask? Oh, it just does an extra 1% of current health as damage on every single bat. What? What are we doing? So someone like Abrams, who, you know, in most scenarios would probably be able to tank it, is now going to be taking 1% of his health, like, flat away. There's no way he can actually negate that flat health decrease. And how many bats am I going to be shooting out again? Oh yeah, a lot of them. A lot of them, actually. I'm going to be killing a lot. It's stupid. Like, look at the damage I do to the dummy. I don't even have any items on. I just did 2,450 damage. I don't have any items on. Let's just buy this bottom row. Like, you know what? Let's just buy this bottom row right here. I'm not even going to bother with any of the stuff up here. Now I use my ult. By the way, this is only with 20 stacks. You have like 20 stacks by like the mid game, like 10-minute mark. Like, let's look. 4,000. Oh my god. It killed McGinnis. She just called her a loser. Like, do you see? I don't think I need to explain it any further, right? Like, Mina just does unbelievable amounts of damage, all before you can even blink. She is one of the best burst damage dealers in the entire game. She's incredibly hard to pin down. Like, her survivability is very movement based, but wow, if you can't catch her, then what? You're just gonna die. You're just gonna get love bit to get to death. You can't do anything about it. Too bad. Get bitten. She's incredibly annoying. She's a very annoying character. There is a reason why, as I said, it has the word harasser written on her like description thingy here. Like, she will harass you. She will be annoying. She'll be a gnat in your ear that you can't, like, she'll be like a mosquito that just keeps like biting you now and here and there, and before you know it, you're just dead. And then she'll just pop out in the middle of a team fight, bat everyone. Everyone's love bitten. Everyone's having their spirit resist shredded. Everyone's getting just screwed over. It's just so much fun. I love Mina. I think she's fantastic to play as. Though, again, as I said, she can be very much caught out when Sanguine Retreat is not available, because then she has to rely on her stamina and whoever's playing her, their movement skills, which, as I said, she has 2 stamina at base, but of course you can just buy Stamina Master and you'll have like 4 stamina, which, you know, that's enough to make an escape. So yeah, Mina is incredibly fun to play as. I love like every single aspect of her. I think she was a fantastic choice to be the first of the new 6 characters that we got, because, I mean, admittedly, when was the last time we really got like a super burst damage character before her? It was like Calico. Like, it'd been a while, I suppose. But yeah, like, I don't actually know what I meant by that. I just think Mina's really fun. I think she was a really good choice to, you know, start us off with these new 6 characters. They knew what they were doing. And speaking of things where I say they know what they were doing, we're now going to move on to talking about her design. But before I actually talk about design, I actually just want to mention something in really quickly. You'll notice that a lot of these characters have these like cool, like bright art pieces behind them. I just noticed when I was like scrolling through them, Doorman's is obviously like a really tall door, right? That's perfect, right? Mina's is the thingy. What's it called? Lady Liberty. It's the statue of Lady. It's the Statue of Liberty. Like, how cocky and like arrogant can she be? Like, how like she thinks she's gonna own the Lady Liberty. That's how full of herself she is. Though, admittedly, as I've said, she probably does have the skills to back it up. But speaking of her design, and I know someone is probably going to complain again that I don't know fashion, but I do really, really love Mina's design. It looks just, it's very bad. Like, her design is like the antithesis to Drifter's. Like, I just want to put the both of them side to side, right? Like, Drifter and Mina are like actually just 2 sides of a coin. Like, their outfits are similar in some ways, but very different in others. At least I see it as that. Like, the both of them have vampiric inspirations. Like, for example, Drifter has the puffed out red collar, which is obviously very like a very Dracula thing to have, like the really tall high up collar. He has like the big like big fangs, long black hair, glowing red eyes, but he obviously looks like a hobo. He looks like a murder hobo, as a certain someone would say. Where Mina, on the other hand, has taken a lot of inspiration from the bat side of things. Like Drifter is clearly Dracula inspired, whereas Mina is very clearly inspired by the whole turning into a bat thing. Like, her dress is frilled out in a way that it looks like a bat's wings. She has a big black umbrella, which from the back made look like a bat. Like, it's got a very bat-esque design. I really love the bright red, like, underneath area. That is a very lovely looking contrast. She wears red gloves. She's very prim and proper. She's like a fancy vampire compared to, you know, Mr. I murder people in alleyways. She's wearing like tall high heels. She's got like sort of obviously the frilled out skirt. She looks like rich. Like, that's what I'm trying to get across. She looks like a rich vampire, and I think it makes sense that someone like her looks like this, because obviously she is rich. She's the fashionista. Like, she has the fashion nailed down. I am not a man of fashion. I don't know really much about fashion. I don't know much about women's fashion. I know less about it, obviously. I'm not a woman, as you can probably tell from my voice. But, like, I look at her outfit and I'm just like, you go, girl. That's slay. And I mean slay in both slay outfit-wise and slay your enemies. Suck their blood. All of that lovely stuff. I just love the way she's designed. Like, everything has like a bat motif to it. Like, even the sort of necklace she's wearing could be looked at as, say, a bat unfurling its wings, or the sort of, I don't know what to call that, like the shirt thing that she's wearing underneath the suit jacket. That kind of also looks like a bat's wings. Like, all of her stuff is very bat-esque, and it's like a polar opposite to Drifter and all of his like hobo Dracula look that he has. I also love the idea of her little gun. Her little gun even has bat wings on it. I didn't even know that. Her little gun has bat wings on it. And it also, probably, judging from that little canister at the bottom, shoots out blood. Like, she's actually shooting blood bullets at you, presumably of the people that she has sucked the life out of. And I love that she just always has the umbrella out at all times. Like, she only ever, like, puts it away when she does, like, the spin. Like, even when she's sliding, she obviously, like, puts it away, but it unfurls or opens up the second she's, you know. I love the way it actually opens up. One sec. I love that it has a little sound effect as well to show it opening up. But, like, she's got the handbag on her at all times with a little bat on the end of it as well. Like, she's very clearly designed with the bat aspect of, you know, vampires in mind. And I really, really love that. And, you know, it's cool to have a young Asian woman as part of the cast, because to my knowledge, we don't have any other Asian women. At least I think she's definitely, I don't want to come off as, like, stereotypical, but she is definitely Asian, right? I'm not stupid for saying that. Her name's Mina Ha. I don't think I've ever met a white woman with the last name Ha, I must admit. But yeah, it's good to have an Asian woman. You know, as I've said in previous videos, I am the woker and I love diversity. But yeah, I love Mina's design. I love her gameplay. I love her incredibly snobby, just, I am better than you. I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to mock you personality. I love every, just inch of her. I think she was a fantastic choice to be like the first one in. But yeah, with all of my praise high sung and done, I would say this is the end of the video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined, or if you enjoyed it up until this point. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whether that be a good morning, afternoon, evening, etc. And the next video in this series will be on the man that cannot scream for the gin any louder. That being my beloved Mirage.